Nah, I done grew up around some people living their life in bottles. Granddaddy had the golden flask, back door bigger day in Chicago. Some people like the way it feels, some people want to kill their sorrows.
All right, everybody, it is me and my boy ImPERium here again to cast our last set of what may be the first, what may be the last, who knows, but it is the Ace Gaming NA Tour, and it is Ace Gaming versus Team FERROX. We've got a Rezaban right off the board early from the side of Ace Gaming.
Yeah, you know, Ace Gaming have been overall very dominant in all of these series, only dropping one game against Hammers, which was really fantastically played by Hammers. But each team that have gone up against Ace Gaming have shown a lot of potential and shown what they can potentially do. And now it's FERROX's time. They've got a lot of good players that have experience, especially Papa John. He's a very experienced player within the Veinglory community. I know Shamu is very solid, and Rock Bomber as well is also very well known. But looking at this drop ban, we do see that Kinetic, you know, Anka and Samuel have all been banned, as the first pick coming out from Ace Gaming is Tony. Again, Samuel is banned by Ace Gaming. I would love just to see them not ban Samuel and go up against him, but I doubt we will see it. First pick coming out from Team FERROX is Churn Walker, one of the strongest captains, but also underutilized because of his skill cap in the game right now, in my opinion. But also requires a comp, I feel, that works with the Churn Walker quite nicely. I don't quite think Flickers maybe needed a second pick. I felt Vox would have definitely been a strong pick to go with the Churn Walker. However, they've gone with the Flicker maybe just to take it away from Ace Gaming DeiNomine.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a Tony on the board again for Ace Gaming. That's something that they've really liked to stick through pretty consistently. Team FERROX, I'm going to put them up there with... I think they should be able to have games comparable to the Hammers games we've seen earlier, right? I do, actually a couple of these members are from Hammer's old roster. You may notice UEXD and Papa John, along with Rock Bomber, who has actually become a very fantastic player, and Chamu as well. So I do think that these may be some of the closer games that we see today as well. Catherine has come through for the side of Ace Gaming. We did Sweetbox play some Catherine earlier. So it'll be interesting to see if it does go into that top lane position, or if Darklon ends up playing it as just the actual captain. So we'll have to see. We may be getting a Kensei here, and I know you'd be excited for that, ImPERium. Got the Mario pick, and there is the Kensei going on to Rock Bomber. So hopefully we'll have an exciting game here for you guys on that one.
Well, what is important about Kensei DeiNomine is, you know, Kensei has, even though he got buffed a little bit on his early game, he's still a hero that requires a lot of ramping up and a lot of protection in the early stages. So, you know, I feel like FERROX will have to be quite passive early game, make sure that Rock Bomber on this Kensei gets at least 2 items on board. Most likely will be Surface Mass Breaking Point with a little bit of defense. Then Kensei will be able to do a lot of damage in these team fights. But Ace are following up with Idris and a Malene. Idris is going to be able to do a lot of damage. Malene is a slippery hero that will be able to possibly get away from Kensei, so that's not a bad pick. However, Papa John hovering over the Batiste, maybe Lance time will tell. Batiste is a hero I would like to see be picked up, but no, they've gone for the Lance. Lance will most likely be played in this jungle position, I feel, to work with Kensei in the early stages of this game, with Varia in mid, Flicker in top, you know, and then obviously Shamu on this Churn Walker in support position. Looking at both of the comps DeiNomine, I really like the FERROX comp. You know, I don't think they quite synergize heavily, but time will tell as we get into this game. Ace Gaming with the Idris, Tony, Catherine, and Vox, I think they all work together as well as the Malene. So, you know, Dark Dawn is on this Catherine in support. So, you know, looking at it, both comps are decent, and I'm interested to see what will happen in this game, DeiNomine.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely going to be an exciting one. And, you know, I probably will bounce to you a little bit on specifically some of the Kensei stuff.
Okay.
So I just bought a house, and I've been spending the past couple months in the process of moving, so I haven't had a ton of time to play Beinglory lately. So the only real time I've seen Kensei played or played Kensei is in Blitz, which is like almost a totally different game. So
okay,
I'm gonna be relying on you, but Sweetbox here on the Tony does look like he's getting bullied out a little bit here. Team Ferro definitely some pretty heavy aggression here early on. They were almost able to pick up that kill, and even though they didn't, they did force the flask out and are going to get this crystal tree out of the enemy's jungle. They'll give up their own, but that's a long cooldown on the healing there for that Tony.
It is, and I like the synergy coming out from Ferro in the early stages. The strong engagement, I think, Kensei needed, you know, to get ramped up in a couple of items, but I like to see the fact that they're not afraid to have a hard engage. Like I mentioned, Papa John is going to support Rock Bomber, which will mean that, you know, there's going to be that Kithine wall, there's going to be that Impale just to keep Kensei, you know, alive and stop any kind of really strong counter engagement in that top lane and give him a chance to ramp up quite nicely. Yugi X causing hassle in that mid lane, now looking to, I would say, rotate to the bottom lane, just or his top lane, should I say, just to make sure that they can, you know, push that way quite nicely. All the while, Papa John and again Rock Bomber secured their weapon dirt. So this is a really good start for Team Fro. We haven't seen much strong engagement from Ace Gaming. It feels like they were maybe slightly knocked off their perch. The goal difference is very minimal between the two teams. I'm impressed by the start coming out by Team Fro.
Yeah, absolutely. As Rock Bomber a little bit late there on Kensei's A, was not able to stop the teleport coming out of the Tony, but just gonna go ahead and work on clearing out his lanes. And you know, realistically, ImPERium, who was Kensei picked here as a counter to something, would you think, or do you think it's more of a comfort for Rock Bomber?
I think it I would say it's a bit of a counter to Vox and even Idris late game, not so much to Tony or Malene, and I also feel it was picked up as a bit of a surprise pick, definitely because it's something we haven't seen, and you know, I feel they practice on it enough to pull it out. And Rock Bomber is a really competent player. We talked about him during draft. He's known and he's made a good name for himself, and he's starting to show it in this game. So I really do like that Kensei pick up, and he's playing it quite expertly. Already has the heavy blade along with the Book of Eulogy, so looking to you know, really build up quite nicely as they do look to catch out this Idris. Man, Fro, they're proving a point in this game. Less than 4 minutes in, DeiNomine, the goal difference is slightly even, I believe. I can't quite see it, but I believe it's very even between the two teams. And I like the fact that Yugi XD is rotating from the top lane or their bottom into the mid and just creating that little bit of synergy even more for Team Fro so they can build up into the late game. You know, I'm impressed. Ace have actually been surprisingly passive.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This is Ace definitely playing a little bit more passive than we've seen in the past couple of games. I'm not sure if it's, you know, because like you said, the Kensei was probably more of a surprise pick than anything. They're also going up against a Flicker Lance and Churnwalker trio.
Yeah.
And realistically, face checking any bush into that sounds pretty terrifying. So Mini Candy is used down here by Yugi to try to help clear out this wave. But Tassa and Nation, they've been pushing in on that turret. Next wave is coming up, and they're not having really much struggle clearing out the wave that's opposition to them. And they may just go ahead and get that turret. Oh man, Nation a little bit too deep there. Does get taken out by Yugi. That turret is looking pretty unhealthy too. 5 minutes in, we've got item shop spawned. So that's going to help a couple of the people get some shop rotations in. Looks like Ace looking for this crystal tree, and Idris has to be so cautious here. And now with a great rotation from the side of oh my goodness! Oh wow! Idris makes it out on a sliver, and it looks like Team Ferro, looks like they're going to find this kill onto Tassa here eventually, but not before Tassa goes all legendary Super Saiyan on them and picks up 2 kills in the middle of that 3v1. Excellent play coming out of the Maline there. Darklon, he's going to make it out alive, I think. Yeah, just barely, but he's going to make it out alive. Up in the top lane, it does. Ooh, look at that switch. It's almost like I knew that was going to happen.
That was perfect timing.
But the Kensei is dueling out pretty well with the Tony right now. So definitely excited to see how this Kensei works out. We've got Sorrow Blade complete. We've got to wait for it over the wall there by Nation. Nothing to come of it, though. It looks like he's just going to go ahead and rotate down. They don't have a ton of health left to go on that bottom turret, so they have the rotation from Maylene. They may just look to get that turret down, and it looks like the rest of the team is using the opportunity to hit that shop. Again, the river shop they are spawned now 2-3 in favor of Team Ferro. Let's see how the rest of this game goes. Minion candy picked up here by the Churnwalker.
Yeah, I am interested about that top lane turret. As you see, Ace Gaming securing that Ghostwing. So this is the Ace Gaming that we have come to know and love in this NA tour presented by Sule. You know, capturing that Ghostwing within a couple of minutes of it being spawned. So that's nicely done. But looking at the Tony top lane, as you do see, nicely done by Kensei to secure that top lane turret. I'm interested because I don't think Tony is really suited to a top lane position. I really think it's actually his weakest position. You know, weaker than jungle and support. I would have actually preferred to have seen top lane Kath and support Tony instead of what we're seeing now. But time will tell as we get into later stages of the game. You know, it could be a shade around, but engagement going on, DeiNomine.
Yeah, Ace picks up that crystal tree, and oh my, the Anvil's hammer coming through, cleaning up quite a bit of damage there. Ace, they're on the back foot, except for Sweetbox getting some damage here onto Varia. Don't know if they're going to be able to find the kill. It's going to be close. Churnwalker, Chamu with an excellent torment there. Probably the one thing that saved the Varia. So far, we've got 5 on the board for Team Ferro. Turret destroyed down there in the bottom by the Lance and the Kensei. They're working their way into this next turret, but with Idris coming, who does have his Divergent Path unlocked, but at the 8-minute, going into the 9-minute mark, he does not have his first item or gold for his first tier 3 item, so definitely showing that Ace is not quite as far ahead as they have been in the past couple of games we've seen.
No, just looking at the last team fight engagement, if you noticed, the Kensei ripped through the Idris, and I mean ripped through the Idris, and it's what I talked about. You know, Kensei is that counter for Idris, and is that counter for Vox, and even with only one item of Sarblade, you see the damage that he's pushing through. Once he gets breaking point, and is able to do even more damage as he builds up stacks. Great job by Mozzie just to stop that poor back and maybe looking to take out that middle turret. We will see, but the top turret is secured by Ace Gaming.
Oh, you get in, but this is a 4-on-3. Can they find the kill here? Rock Bomber did dish out a ton of damage there, but in the end, he is going to fall, and Ace, they are probably going to find these 2 more kills, or at least the 1. Yugi on the run. He was able to boots away. He's got the journey boots, so not even a big loss for him there, as the cooldown was refreshed. 12 seconds. He'll have that back up for the next fight. Chamu does block out that merciless pursuit. The Mooncloak is gonna get everybody out alive. Excellent play coming out of the side of Team Ferro right now. Nation, he might be in a rough spot, or he could be in just the right spot. He does have that Serpent's Mask. He's gonna have a pretty decent amount of sustainability, but he doesn't have that breaking point yet. And I feel like that's the comfort item for Nation. In all the games that we've seen him play Vox, he's fairly passive in comparison to the rest of the team until he gets that breaking point. And it's like, once that breaking point comes online for him, it's a flip of a switch, the aggression turns around, the kiting mode engages, and it's almost like watching a player transform in the middle of a game.
Yeah, exactly. Totally agree with you there, DeiNomine, you know, nicely pointed out. But it's like I mentioned, now Tony does have Pulse Speed, now has the Storm Crown and the Tier 2 boost, but I feel like he's not being that effective in these team fights. Time will tell though as we get into the later stages. Looking at the rest of the builds, we do see Kensei Rock Bomber now has that breaking point, so this is his kind of power spike. He just wants to tank up a little bit more in defense, I feel, so that he can shred through while surviving. We do see that Papa John has got Spell Sword, looking to build into Aftershock. This is a build that we're seeing with an engagement.
Later. So close to getting that root, but the ultimate was able to get him out. Team Ferro, they're putting up a great fight here, and in fact, I already thought these games were going to be even, but I think they're even exceeding what I thought they were going to do, as they're starting up the Ghost Wing right now. Yugi, this invisible and tricky little flicker over here, has been keeping pretty good vision. We see that excellent cam down there, just now got destroyed. Anvil's Hammer is coming in for some additional vision. Oh no, the Blast Tremor's a little early. Kensei comes through, finishes it off for Ferro. They're looking for more. Oh no, Sweetbox is down, and that's going to be another kill going over to Kensei. Mooncloak is out. And now Team Ferro, they've got that buff. They may be looking to rotate and find another fight. Black Claw now on the map. I did miss who that buff went to. It does look like it was Ferro that sniped that away. So good on them. We've got a Crystal Infusion picked up here for Flicker. Obviously that's going to help them have some additional cooldown speed, and see where they go with the rest of that. A lot of defense on Yugi, not seeing a Storm Counter Aftershock, or even a Storm Guard that we normally see early on Flickers, but he's really been incredibly effective so far this year.
Well, yeah, because that's all kind of Flicker needs in this jungle position in the top lane as he is a Pulse Sweep, because Pulse Sweep acts like a bit of a tension bow, only with more defense and actually more of an annoying hit on the item. So he's playing with that nice defense, he's doing a lot of job, and plus with the Lance, they complement each other. But I want to talk about this Aftershock as the Black Claw is bearing down. Aftershock and Lance is really effective because it has that perk of the basic attack plus the cooldown. It's a really nice job by Papa John. Nice engagement, come down, hero is killed, Lance is taken out though. Black Claw is going to bear down on the turf, but Shamu is nearly going to lose his life. Anvil Hammer is activated, so stops any kind of push by Ace. So that was a nice Black Claw push, I feel, denominated by Team Ferro. It's got one turret. They haven't lost a turret anywhere else across the map, really. So they're putting on a good fight quite nicely. Looking at the Churnwalker build, has got Fountain, has got Crucible, typical Fursuit Captain items. I would like to see maybe a Skycam 2000 just to help the Flicker give more mobility and more awareness around the map. But other than that, he just needs to get a War Threads and just get maybe just a little bit more defense, and he'll be complete. And again, it's going to come down to these team fights to nominate. Talk about team fights, we've seen engagement by Ace.
Yeah, Chamu does get a little bit rooted up there. Mooncloak is out. We'll have to see what they do with it, if anything. Brilliant flare there coming out of the side of Ace, preventing that engagement. Does look like Yugi is looking to clear out some vision and maybe even put some of his own down in the enemy's jungle. He now sees that Ace is there. The Ghost Wing is back on the map, and we'll have to see if either team decides they're in a comfortable spot to start that one up.
Yeah, that was a really nice scout cam drop by Yugi. It's little things like that that I just love seeing come out from team, just so because those scout cams in the right area can make so much of a difference. However, there is a split between Team Ferro. Ace are spotting it and they're just being a little bit harder on any kind of potential engagement, maybe looking to take Ghostwing now. However, Team Ferro are now all back together.
Yeah, absolutely looks to be the case. Both teams actually starting to get into that later stage of the game where team fighting is going to be pretty much all of the rest of the game. So does look like Ace, they've started up the Ghostwing here. Papa John knows what's going on. What is the answer from the side of Ferro? It's to let it go and have Kensei clear out that top wave. Ammo Hammer is down, and that is actually a pretty good use of it. Prevented the enemies from recalling and defending their turrets from any of the minion waves. So excellent activation there coming out of the Varia.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at this, Idris has got Dragon's Eye along with the alternating current. That's interesting. I potentially would have liked to see maybe Shatterglass instead of Dragon's Eye just for that core strong damage, but even let's see if we can build these stats. But engagement going on.
Yeah, it looks to be the case. We're getting the camera centered on it now. Tassa does get rooted up. That could be a huge opportunity for Ferro, but he's going to make it out alive. Mooncloak used, and that is them running on out. The flare misses, but that scout cam was absolute brilliant vision there. And Ace, they know to run, and they're going to get out. So that shows you how effective those scout cams can be against a flicker. And that one cam that all of Team Ferro ran by saved 2 members of Ace Gaming. They were committing a little bit further, and once that vision caught, they immediately turned around. They got themselves out and are hanging in there on this game.
Yeah, but one thing that is slightly going against Team Ferro is the lane pushes that Ace are putting out. They're slightly getting the better of just pushing the wave and then coming together as a team. Whereas Ferro are kind of coming together as a team, looking for an engagement, but not really focusing on the wave push. And then they notice the wave push, they react to the wave push, and then that gives Ace's Ace Gaming freedom to either re-engage or take an objective. So, you know, Team Ferro, they've got to be a little bit more aware of their wave management. But talk about wave management, they've seen an exposure in the mid lane and turret is being put down. So in that process, the Black Claw is looking to be taken by Ace Gaming, but they recognize that the mid lane is pushed, so they're going to have to back off. Caster Curse just slightly happened as I noticed. You know, I talked about how Team Ferro being aware of their waves, and they exposed Ace Gaming in that mid lane, so nicely done by them. It's kind of, you know, giving them a taste of their own medicine. They're now going to rotate in the top lane, secure that wave, while there's a 2-man in the bottom lane looking to secure that wave. But they need to group together because Ace Gaming are noticing this, and they are grouping together, looking to you know, converge around the Ghostwing area, because Ghostwing has land, and if you can get a Ghostwing followed by a team fight, followed by Black Hole, that could be game over for either team that manages to secure it. Seems like Ace Gaming go for it.
Yeah, it does look to be the case. It's almost taken, but this fight is breaking out incredibly quickly. Oh, huge ult coming from the Tony there. Idris is the first one to find a kill. It's on to Yugi here on the flicker. And now Ace, they're on the chase here. Oh man, this Idris barely made it out, but the rest of Ace is still very healthy. There's a 3rd kill on the board for Ace. And just like that, that may be the opportunity that they wanted. They can now, with the recall coming out of Idris there, he's going to top himself up on health and go clear this bottom wave. Hopefully in time to save the turret, but we'll have to see. It's going to be a little on the close side. We've got the other 4 members hanging out here, taking down the Black Claw. We do have some vision down by the side of Team Ferro, but can they do anything about this steal? Rock Bomber about half health. Papa John a little bit above, but looks like with them seeing how many members of Ace were there, they're going to have to just let that one go. And this may be the opportunity for Ace to really start to turn things around. They're really getting to some of those intense power spikes, specifically looking at the Idris right now.
Yeah, definitely Idris, he's got a little bit of defense in his kit, so that means that any kind of damage you're going to be able to be a bit more re-engaging. However, nice little bit of stunning coming down, but, you know, engagement coming out DeiNomine.
Yeah, a little bit. We've got quite a bit of damage on the throw here. The Black Cloud's pushing in. Ace, they're not letting up the aggression. Brilliant block coming out of the side of Ferro there. Oh, Bada Boom is going to come in and stop a couple of recalls, it looks like. There's the Mooncloak going to help Varia get out to safety. Ace, they still have a little bit under half of a Black Claw, but it looks like they're just going to turn their attention, head down through the jungle, and they might even try to quickly take the Ghost Wing.
Yeah, that's a wise choice. Nice turnaround. Just ignore that push that they got to turn out of it. You know, Ferro are being aware of it, but a couple of them are porting back, so it's going to be a right situation where I don't think they're going to get there in time. I want to talk about Sweet Box's Bada Booms. They have been as sweet as chocolate DeiNomine. They've been perfectly executed. They've separated Team Ferro each time. And, you know, they've actually, on that one occasion where it was a team fight situation around the dragon, it caused Ace to win that team fight because of it. And then when you saw the Black Claw push, it completely repositioned all of Ferro so that Black Claw could do a little bit more damage, and it then forced, you know, it was able to get Ace Gaming that little bit more of a push, and then they could go back to take those swings. Either way, Sweetbox has been absolutely precise on his Bada Boom, and it's what I love to see these games. Looking at Team Ferro, the build on Papa John is not as defensive as I would potentially like to see. Maybe he just needs to get a couple of more items on his belt. He has the weapon power slow. Oh my god, I forget the name of it. Atlas, there you go. Yeah. My flag. He hasn't quite got the Aegis. I feel after he gets the Aegis, he needs to get something like, you know, even a Slumbered Husk, just to be a bit more of a frontline tank, because that's going to be important for Team Ferro. Protect those hard carries, become that frontline defense to be able to do the job. Engagement coming out.
Yeah, we do have this fight breaking out quickly. Oh my goodness, the Kensei comes through and deletes Idris. Bada Boom on the mark there. Looks like they're going to find a kill onto Darkblood here. Excellent route coming out of Papa John. Sweetbox, he is getting some damage down on Yugi, but for the most part, they're just trading a couple punches and then heading their own way. 8-8 on the scoreboard, so one of the lower kill games we've had tonight. But as far as the gold goes, things are still incredibly even. As far as the map goes, again, things still incredibly even. This could really go either way still, but looks like Ferro, they're coming in here to make a push while they have 5. Can they get it though? Armory destroyed. Looks like they're going to just take that and get out. Nation, he's in a beautiful spot here, building up stacks. That breaking point and Bonesaw, along with the Serpent's Mask to help him sustain his own health, is definitely a scary thing. If you let this box get onto a target, no matter who it is, a couple seconds, he's just going to start milking out the damage.
He is, but that was fantastically executed, Moonco. I've got to give credit to Team Ferro. They saw an opportunity, they took it, and then they got out of there. Really nicely done. Now the Black Hole is going to look to be captured by Ace Gaming, so that could potentially be the team fight win or the game-winning Dragon for them. But with all members of Team Ferro about to be up in roughly 7 seconds by the time the Black Hole bears down on that mid lane, and with that push coming towards Ace Gaming's mid lane, that's gonna be potentially a free Black Claw gold for Team Ferro before even the armory can be taken. But it's going to be up to Team Ferro to focus hard on this Black Claw. However,
they might be looking to close out the game here. They're trying to, at least. They're letting the minion wave push in. They're here strong with the Black Claw, but Quite a bit of damage gets thrown their way. Maylene goes ahead and recalls, clears out that wave. They were able to get the armory, and that is kind of the key trade-off here, is that the map is dead even. 4 turrets remain on each side, but it's the outer turrets and the armories in the center of both are down. And it looks like Ace are going to get a free Ghost Wing here.
Wow, Team Fro, they are putting up such a fantastic fight. Let's put this into a bit more perspective. DeiNomine, you know, as we're 25 minutes into this game, nearly 26 minutes, this is an Ace gaming team that have bags and bags of experience overall as a team. They are used to World Championship games. They're used to the highest level of competition. This is Team Fro that really do not have as much experience overall as a team and even individually, and they are putting the fight to Ace on so many levels. You know, this Kensai is doing a lot of work against the Idris, given half a chance. You know, Flicker's being an annoying fairy that he is, and overall, Fro as a team, they're working really strongly together. You know, it's just coming down to these last couple of team fights. It does look in the favor of Ace overall when it comes to the engagement, but as they've won the last couple of team fights. But Team Fro, all it takes is the right opportunity, the right positioning. Now that Lance has got a little bit more defense, he's got the Sunburn Husk, he's got Crucible more importantly, and he's got Atlas. That's what I want to see from Lance in this game. It will make him a bit more of a tanky front line in these team fights.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We're getting very, very late into this game. Late to the point that a single death can determine who is going to win this one. We do see that there's some vision put up by the side of Ace Gaming. And not, as you know, it's not unexpected, but Team Fro, this might be the game. That's quite the epic back door there. Excellent decision making coming out of those guys. I thought at first they were gonna sneak around behind and just try to get the fight. Nope, they went straight to base. They picked up the kills, and that was actually phenomenal execution coming out of those guys. I'm actually really glad I got to see that. But what a game, ImPERium. 27.5 minutes. Ends with a full team backdoor coming from the Flicker.
Flashback of Worlds 2017 when T-Tigers did the same thing to Ace Gaming. You know, feels bad, man. What more can I say? Team Fro, they saw an opportunity, they sniffed it, they smelt it, they used what they had as a hero advantage, which is that Flicker Moon Cloak. They, you know, also part of the reason why they even attempted to do that, because you know, they felt that they weren't going to get the better of the full 5-on-5 team fights, so they just, you know, they just did what they had to do and they executed it beautifully. There's no more that can really be said. Like you mentioned, it was one of the lower death games out of all the series we saw. The goal difference was so minimal between the two teams. Team Fro, fully deserved. I can't say any more, DeiNomine. I'm just excited for the next game.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there, ImPERium. Definitely ready to get into the next one. Okay, so my first, I'm pretty speechless here, but yeah. So from my first game of seeing like a competitive Kensei, and you know, I kind of have to ask, why don't more people play him? Why did we watch 6 games where he didn't get banned, didn't get picked, but came into this game and had such a huge impact? Specifically the fact that Idris, who we kind of thought was really going to run the game, it just got absolutely annihilated by him. Like, I expected him to be doing good damage. I didn't expect him, you know, especially with the build that he's going, to like 100 as many people as he did.
Yeah, because the part of the reason why Kensei isn't played as much in even kind of competitive games, and especially in rank, you know, outside of tournaments, is one, because there are stronger heroes that are looking to be picked up, i.e. Kinetic, because the reason why is because Kinetic, as a comparison between Kinetic and Kensei, is Kinetic has essentially a better scaling throughout the whole game, so has essentially a stronger early game, a stronger mid game, and comparably the same strength late game as Kensei. Where Kensei falters right now is, one, you need to know how to play her quite strongly, and two, she's quite weak early. He's quite weak early game. So unless you're confident in playing Kensei, like Rock Bomber has showed us, we're not seeing him played as much. So that would be my judgment. I love the fact that we saw a Kensei being played. I knew that, you know, I know how strong he can be, and I do hope that in this second game, Ace recognizes and maybe ban it instead of Samuel, and then we see Samuel being picked up. But time will tell. I'm excited to get into this second game, DeiNomine.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think personally, as good of a performance it was from Rock Bomber, I do still lean towards my original statement on Kensei. I do think there are heroes that are just in general better at doing the same thing that Kensei does.
Okay.
But if you have the level of control over Kensei that Rock Bomber has, and specifically the fact that he was consistently able to get onto Idris and kill Idris, I think he did his job to the best that he could, and it was really fun to watch. Exactly. So, you know, that was pretty exciting all on its own, but even more exciting than that, we're getting into Game 2. So we're going to have Suli get us started out into the draft here in just a moment, and we'll get to that game rocking and rolling for you guys.